You know what's the greatest thing in the world? Monotony. I love nothing more than to wake up every morning without having to worry about alternatives during my day. This is exactly how I like my video games. Don't give me something new, just give me something exactly the same, and I, as the humble consumer, won't feel threatened. Of course, by now I hope you realise I'm being sarcastic, but just to clarify, I'm being sarcastic. A video game series that has been deemed guilty of monotony over the past few years is Dynasty Warriors. If you haven't been living under a rock, then chances are you've at least heard of the Dynasty Warriors franchise published by Koei, who have a new game out every year. The most recent edition is Dynasty Warriors 8. This time around, it appears that management at Omega Force have pulled out the whip, deciding that sitting around, picking their noses and debating on which costume designs look cooler is not the way forward. Instead, creating new and interesting content may actually be the saving grace to the fallen sales figures over the years. So what is actually new? The first big addition to the game is a massive change in the story mode. Now, instead of selecting singular characters to play as through the entire timeline in the story, you select a hero at the beginning of each battle depending on whether they were present or not. To me, this is a fantastic addition to the series as it teaches the gamer a little more about the history of China. But Jimmy, I hear you cry. We don't want to learn things whilst playing a video game. This isn't a book and we're not in school. And to this I can relate. History and myself get on like a house on fire filled with a litter of puppies. However, this history of feudal China is very interesting, one shrouded in mythos that the game explores more than the factual events, so you can think of it as a mythological story. Complementing this change is the way that the game shows you what each faction is doing between each playable campaign, allowing you to understand the bigger picture of the battles. Although, this is where I have a major problem. When the game has an opening cutscene that looks like this, in battle cutscenes that look like this, and yet in between the battles when you want to know the outcome of your struggles, you are greeted with this. There's not even a narrator telling you what had happened after the battle. In this small gap between fights, I wanted to rest my eyes as I realised I hadn't blinked for about half an hour due to the intense and mesmerising montage of bright flashing lights that just look. Sorry about that, I trailed off again. The game does look nicer than its previous titles, more vibrant and with a higher contrast. However, it still suffers from the same problems such as disappearing soldiers and a drop in frame rate as the game renders hundreds of enemies in your field of vision. Though these aren't game breaking faults, as long as your kill count steadily increases and your combos string together nicely, you won't care that several guards disappear when there are dozens more to take his place. Another new addition to the game is Ambition Mode, wherein you are attempting to start up a new city in order to gain favour from the Emperor of the land. To do this, you set out on skirmish style missions to gain extra resources, allies and fame to grow your city with more shops and the like. This I found to be more like a less passive aggressive version of Animal Crossing, where instead of finding bugs I would slay a couple of hundred peasants and show dominance over their generals who, 9 times out of 10 would grovel to become my student, which seems like a good idea but it felt very slow to progress. In battle, the game has added an affinity system which is essentially rock paper scissors with weapons. This seems like a good idea as well, however you see from a distance which affinity the enemy wields and you're able to switch between your 2 equipped affinities to see if you have the upper hand in battle. What's that, Lubu? Mightiest warrior in the land? You have scissors? Well, allow me to put away my pitiful paper and use my rock to bash your face in. Now I'm the most powerful warrior in all the land and you must bow to my superior might. Replayability of the game is pretty high. You have 3 main factions to play as, and the Jin faction which is set later in the timeline. You're also able to play through special campaigns such as Hulao Gate from the side of the opposition, which is really fun. Also during each level you have additional objectives which open up different characters and missions, including secret hypothetical paths. The hypothetical path is a continuation of the storyline as if everything turned out as if it was from a fairy tale. Right at the moment of despair, your friendly warriors show up and save the day, and eventually the ideals of your commander come to fruition. The game is definitely a one to buy. The price tag may seem a little steep, but with a potential 30 hours plus playability, it is justifiable. It has fun gameplay, especially in split screen or online multiplayer, and the amount of time you can spend fixated to the screen gets ridiculous. I honestly played the game for days straight and had to be forcibly removed from my seated position in order to enjoy some vitamin D like some kind of extrovert. I've been Immersed Jim and thank you for watching Immersed Gamer. If you liked the video, please subscribe and share it around. You never know, someone else might actually find me funny rather than just my mum. Don't forget to check out my other reviews such as Mirror's Edge and Dark Sector. Thank you and goodbye.